So let's get started, shall we? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. I am WriterMaven. Anybody that knows me knows that I comment on everything regarding Judgment Day, Liv, Dom, Ben, Raquel, JD, and Carlito, even like people like Damian and Rhea. Um, I am trying to kind of try to stick to my don't talk about Rhea too much, um, thing too much because it's not really much to talk about. Except for like her little comments she had like at the fan festing, but it's whatever. I might go into it. This was Royal Rumble. I tried to do the live. I tried to do the live. I think we're gonna have to like practice with that a little bit more. I didn't like how I did that, but I might just stick to doing reactions after PLAs and events. But it was Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble had the chance to be really, really good. There's nothing wrong with being predictable, but when it gets to the point where it's predictable and it's the bad kind of predictable, like in the case of Charlotte Flair, or just swerving just to swerve in the case of Jey Uso, it can leave bad taste in everybody's mouth. BC Amplified, who is a wrestling commentator that who I love, he doesn't always give you, opinions that you might agree with, but he always has some truth to what he says. He says if you have to defend a decision so hard, it isn't the right decision, and that Triple H needs to read the room regarding this. There's a reason why people aren't anonymously or unanimously agreeing with Jey Uso's win. This isn't like Cody, where he had the machine behind him of finish the story, and everybody was rallying behind Cody because they wanted him to finish the story because he got screwed out of the past WrestleMania. That's something completely different. That's reading the room, seeing it right, and then we saw that when we saw the attempts of like The Rock to try to screw Cody out of that, then it just rallied people even more. That is something that needed to happen with Jey. Jey needed something like to finish the story. Jey is coming off of a loss from Gunther. He's already lost to him twice. He only lost to him like a week ago. So we're going to go into another Gunther match with like 2 or 3 months of build. And then Jey wins it. And then what? Like, it's going to be boring. It's kind of like how Rhea and Io is going to be boring if they ever do that. It's like, where's the story behind it? Sammy and Chad Gable, when they were trying to go for the Intercontinental Championship off of Gunther last year, there was story behind it. Where is the story with Jey? Is the story with Jey just that he eats all the time? And people want to say that, well, he has the fans behind him. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have fans behind him. Look at Dom right now. He's a heel that gets booed. Where is his reward? Drew is a person that has a lot of, can get a lot of heat and cheers. Where's his reward? CM Punk, John Cena, they have a lot of crowd participation and people love them. Where is their reward? And even in the case of like CM Punk, and he at least has championships, and same thing with John Cena. Drew McIntyre doesn't have that much, but you would think he would get rewarded. What about Dom? There's a lot of people that can get the crowds going. There's Otis. Otis was, widely popular for a while now. Where's his championship? Kofi had a story behind him. Anybody remember Kofi Mania? That was a story where he was getting screwed, and they didn't want him to be the championship, but we got the story that led us all the way up to WrestleMania. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Jey and Gunther if they go Jey and Gunther. I'm kind of hoping they kind of swerve and go to Cody, so it'll be Jey and Cody, and then Cody can finally enter into his Homelander era where he turns heel. That's kind of where I wanted to go. I don't want to see Jey and Gunther. Gunther is boring. He's been ruined by having to face Damian Priest, who I'll get into later, and then he had to face Jey, which take it down even more. Like, Gunther was been treated filthy during his reign, and I think he would have been done better. I still think he shouldn't have had the title so soon, but I think he should have been treated better, and not having to deal with no sell Damian Priest, which again I'll get into later with him. But going back to Jey, um, Am I happy that he won? Yeah, but still, I don't think it was the right choice. You had John Cena in there. You had CM Punk. You could have threw that to Drew. Drew, give us a shocker and have Dom win it. If you want to go for a swerve that would surprise people, give it to Dom. Like there are so many different opportunities we could have went with than Jey Uso. And even with Jey Uso, I don't even think he's the best wrestler. Like once he gets after the yeets stop and he's wrestling, he's not the best wrestler. Who's the best wrestler out of the Usos? Jimmy. I will say to my last breath that Jimmy is the better twin because Jimmy can do all kinds of stuff, and we've been seeing that on SmackDown where he can do a whole bunch of moves and things like that, um, wrestling wise on SmackDown. Like him and Carmelo, who I think was treated filthy too, was having really good matches. Jimmy was having really good matches with Kevin Owens. Like we've seen what Jimmy can do. Like if we had the machine behind Jimmy, I could believe that he could be main event. Jay, I don't think so. Because watch after the Yeats die down and he's doing his promos that everything just dies. It's kind of like how it died this past Monday. You remember how they were just yeeting for like 10 minutes, and we think that was just an audible because of JD, but still it crashed hard. Like there's nothing with Jay. I'm sorry. Is he entertaining? Yes. Did he get over with his yeet? Yeah. But there's nothing of substance with Jay, and his wrestling ability is nothing to sneeze at. And then for the women, we have Charlotte Flair doing the exact same thing that Rhea has done. Okay, there goes Rhea again. But just to compare, they can't exist without the title. She comes in, she returns. As soon as we saw the pyro on her return, we knew she was winning. And then she wins, and what? Are we going to go through to Tiffany, where Tiffany is treated filthy, where she has a short reign and then has to give the title up to Charlotte? Because this is what's going to happen. She's going to go confront if she chooses Tiffany, she's going to go over there to SmackDown. She's going to have the face pop for 1 or 2 weeks. The crowd is not going to be willing to cheer Charlotte over Tiffany, and then she's going to be forced to turn heel. It happens every single time because she can't go face. And that's because they keep forcing her into all these title matches. Now, she could have come back heel here, but this is a return. Usually, returns are of a face nature. So, you're going to come back, she's going to be face for maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and then people are going to refuse to boo Tiffany, even though she's a tweener right now. They're going to refuse to boo Tiffany, and then we're going to get the same shit of her going heel with Tiffany. Now, me personally, you know what I would want? I want her to go over there to Rhea because that's knocking out two birds with one stone. I won't have to suffer through just I won't have to suffer through just two different things with Rhea and Charlotte. They'll be in one program. It's probably gonna suck because they won't have Dom to bounce off of for that title program, and they can use whatever history they want to. That doesn't make Rhea look bad and make Charlotte look bad to take that along. And then you can have a story of Charlotte trying to get her title back that Rhea took. Fine, go ahead and do that. I'd rather that happen. Leave Tiffany for like Nia and then Candace and let her develop her reign. I mean, I'm not the biggest Tiffany fan, but I do think she needs a chance to develop her reign, especially since they snatched Nia away from Tiffany just to give Rhea a win and then put Nia back with Tiffany. That was time that could have been used to develop Tiffany, Nia's, and Candace's feuds. So that's what I hope. I hope tomorrow on Raw, and I'll get into Raw previews because she's going to be there with Jay. I'm just hoping that she just chooses. Hope Charlotte just chooses Rhea. Just gonna get out the way. There's no point in Charlotte going after Tiffany. I know Andrade is over there, and she might want to be with her husband, but it's WrestleMania season, and you could do a quick trade with Andrade after WrestleMania to to switch that back over. Because it even because Andrade doesn't even look like he's even mentioning Zelina. I would think Zelina would be like trying to hook back up with Andrade to help him out, but we haven't even gotten a mention of Zelina with Andrade. So if they're not going to do it, they might as well just have Rhea be on Raw. I mean, not Rhea. Charlotte be on Raw, and then go from there. But anyway, that's my opinions on the winners. Charlotte, it was very predictable. Jay was just a swerve. Like, what do you do with John Cena? Okay, Elimination Chamber. Okay, who does he face? Cody. Why would John Cena face Cody? This is his final tour. You see where this doesn't make sense? What does John Cena do? Is he going to be out of a title program during his retirement tour? This would be the time to start getting some titles onto John Cena or something. And then what do you do with CM Punk? Are we going to be extending the CM Punk Seth Rollins feud? Is Roman Reigns going to be thrown in there now? You see how everything doesn't make sense? The road to WrestleMania now is very convoluted. We don't know where all the paths lead. And yeah, maybe this can get straightened out tomorrow on Raw. But right now, it's just really murky. I don't have a lot of this stuff. It's just me guessing and hoping because I don't have no clue of what they're going to do with a lot of these people. And this is stuff that should be nailed down and finalized by now. At this particular moment, we should have had clear roads into what they were going to do from now until WrestleMania. But it's just a mess. And then people want to say that you want to trust the process with Triple H. Bullshit. The process is fucked, and the process can get fucked. Let's break down the women's Royal Rumble, shall we? Starting off, Liv was entered number two, and I was so giddy and happy to see her with her Daddy Dom vest. That was like a really nice touch. I like the skeletons. I love the design of that Daddy Dom vest. And then we found out today at her event that Liv said that Dom gave that to her as a gift. So we have Liv with her own vest that Dom wears. It has Daddy Dom on it. It has the paisley. It has the skeleton. It's nice. And then her actual gear is really cute. I love her skirt gears. I love seeing the skirt gears. So we got to see like the really sheer skirt. And then she has that fringe like Dom has like on his gear. So I'm really liking how they're really incorporating a lot of Dom's aesthetic into her gear because it's really cute on her, and I loved it. So we had that, and then we had EO first. The women's Royal Rumble was actually pretty cool and pretty nice until they did that unnecessary spot where Nia just eliminated all the top players like EO, Bianca, Naomi, Raquel, Liv, all of them, like everybody just got out, and that left people like really with a sour taste in their mouth. I saw that people would say she had did that, if Nia had eliminated a whole bunch of people like that, like the lower card, like the PFCs, like Maxine or something like that, if she had done that to that, the spot would have gone over a little bit better. But it just felt like they didn't know what to do with all these top players, and they just got rid of her, all those top players, so we could get down to Charlotte and Charlotte winning. Um, NXT was represented well. We had Roxanne, we had Lash Legend, Jada Parker, Stephanie Bakir, and Julia. Um, I really liked seeing them in the match, and they had a lot more representation than the men, which I'll get into later. But at least NXT was well represented. Roxanne lasted to the end. I'm happy for her on that. And then we actually saw the debut. Well, it's not really a debut because she's been on NXT, but we saw Jordan Grace. I always like her friendship with Naomi, and the way Bianca just snatched her by her hair after that hug was hilarious. But I like Jordan. I think she's really good. I'm just hoping they don't do the whole beating her against who later on, because I think Jordan needs to be developed. I think a lot of people need to stay away from who to get developed. We have the return of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Bella, And dare I say, I think they out popped Charlotte. Charlotte had got a nice reaction, but everybody was expecting Charlotte Flair. But Alexa showing up and Nikki Bella showing up just pretty much blew the roof off. Um, Liv got a really good boo from eliminating Alexa Bliss, and it's kind of looking like that could be a feud for her. Like Liv set up like a whole bunch of different types of feuds here. She was calling out Charlotte. She eliminated Alexa Bliss, and then Nikki Bella has some unfinished business with Liv. So she has about three pathways. Alexa Bliss, they not people wanted to chirp about her like joining Wyatt Six, so it'd be a Judgment Day and versus Wyatt Six. But again, that rumor was debunked first of all, and even now you can't do that because they're on SmackDown and the transfer portal closed today, so they're on SmackDown. So unless you're going to have Judgment Day switch over to SmackDown, which I doubt, then how are you going to do that? You can do a cross promotion, a cross branded feud, but you're down members. Bo Dallas is injured, which is Uncle Howdy, and you got JD that's injured. So it wouldn't make sense for them to feud because everybody is down members. It doesn't make you feel the feud wouldn't even make sense in the first place because why would you be feuding? You want to say that Judgment Day is betrayal, but they had good reasons to betray. It would make Wyatt Six look really hypocritical. It's not like they were going after Karrion Kross or The Miz or Chad Gable. You know, those were like some really out and out faces that turned heels because they turned on their family. Judgment Day, that's just the name of the game with them. It's not really betrayal. It's just pretty much saying that they don't want you anymore because of the way you acting. It happened with Edge, it happened with Damian and Rhea, and it's probably going to happen with Finn coming up pretty soon. So the feud wouldn't even make sense. And the Finn would make sense even then the feud would make sense even less now because they're down members. Like what do you do? Just stalking Dom and Carlito now? Maybe Finn? And then you got Dom and Finn on the edge of a breakup that needs to get pulled the trigger on now. Like, why would you have Finn stick around and or Dom stick around for that? Just for a Wyatt Six flip. But I did see from PW Insider, and of course, take this with a grain of salt, that Alexa is going to be on Raw. Um, that's another person they can select for Rhea if they wanted to. So, and then again with Alexa Bliss, she may not be going into the Fiend character like that. Her Fiend character, it might just this past Royal Rumble could just be like her tribute to Bray Wyatt, and then she shifts into something else on Raw. We'll see, and I'll get to that on the when I go over Raw. And then, like I said, Liv has some other feuds with Bianca and Naomi still, so she's got a lot of stuff set up, which is better than Dom. Which so let's segue into Men's Royal Rumble. It looked like all the luchadors had to come out in that first like 10 people. We had Penta, we had Ray, then we had Santos, and then we had Andrade. Like it's like all the luchadors came out there. I was really disappointed that Dom was not allowed to interact with any of them. You know, we had the confrontation with Penta, but we never did get Dom never got a chance to interact with Penta. And then Finn is the one that gets the elimination on Penta. So like how is it that Dom can get a confrontation, but then Finn is the one that eliminates Penta? You see what I mean? It's just the whole thing was just very bad for Dom. He was treated filthy in the Royal Rumble. And then Carmelo, I'm going to get to Dom a little bit later too, but with Carmelo, he was treated filthy too. He was really out in for what was he like the first elimination or something like that? Like Carmelo was treated bad, and then when Finn came out, notice that he did not use his current theme song. He used Judgment Day's theme song. Liv and Dom, they used their individual theme songs. They didn't use Judgment Day. It's just really interesting to see that split. Raquel used Judgment Day too. I was thinking that she would use like her. She has a new version of her song. And I thought they would use that for her, but I guess they didn't. I wasn't paying attention to her music, but Finn was using the old Judgment Day one. So But it's interesting to see that Finn was using Judgment Day and Dom was using his individual, Mysterio music there. It also did with Finn. Did y'all notice those objects that floated on the screen with Finn? It was kind of weird. Like, what was that? I caught a picture of it, and you can see it on the X of what I posted. Um, Reddit said that Finn's elimination may have been botched by Braun because it seemed like there was a couple of botches with the eliminations. But with Finn, it looks like Braun was supposed to catch him and maybe toss him back into the ring. So we might have could have had a Finn and Dom interaction, but it got botched and then Finn got dropped. That's why I don't really like all those kind of like eliminations like that because a lot of stuff can just screw up. So so Finn might have just gotten accidentally eliminated. But like I said, Dom was treated filthy. The positives with Dom is that he had a on his vest it was said Garita, instead of Daddy Dom it said Garita for Liv. He has really cool gear. It's a skeleton gear, but it was like his black. It's like a black and white skeleton gear design on here, and it was looking really good on him. Um, and then he was able to mix it up with Cena and Roman, and then he was able to get a frog splash on Cena, and then he had a post today talking about how he could see John Cena. Now the filthy part is that he couldn't mix it up with all the other luchadors like Penta, Ray, all them. There was no continuation of his story with Finn. We needed that. Like if they were going to have the Finn elimination, maybe like run Finn out there to like supposedly support Finn or Dom or something like that. It kind of continue it that way. They seemed like they could have done something there. And then guess who eliminates Dom? Damian Priest. That story is closed. Now I'm going to rant here for a good bit. Damian's story with Finn and Judgment Day and Dom is closed. Why did they take Dom and just to give him to Damian Priest just to chuck him out the Royal Rumble just so he can get that pop? And it wasn't even a pop. Dom got a reaction when he showed up. And then here you are feeding Dom to Damian where the story's closed. Like why? Like you couldn't have like I'd rather like Dom be checked out by John Cena, Roman Reigns. I would have taken even maybe Finn if he's still in there checking him out. Anybody but Damien. But now they gotta use Damian Priest to check out Dom so he could get that last little bit of pop. And then Dom wasn't even in there long enough to get elimination. I was like, you could at least gave him a face to build him up a little bit. He wasn't even in there for like maybe 4 or 5 minutes. That whole look, his own look, good look, and then we was wasted for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, we got Logan Paul's ass getting all the spots that Dom should have got. Imagine Dom coming in at 30 and then mixing it up and being in that final three for the Royal Rumble. At least then that could have done much better. But no, we gotta have Dom in there for 5 minutes, if that, and then get to do shit. You remember how last year he was trending upwards in time? Like you could give him an Iron Man. Like if you didn't want to give him an elimination, like give him some time in the ring. They couldn't even do that. I don't know what he be. The whole Dom thing is the whole Dom situation as a fan is really frustrating because it seems like he'll do good for a little bit. Like these past 2 weeks, he was doing really good, like his backstage moments and stuff like that. And then here comes Royal Rumble, and they were like 10 steps back with him. Like he can never have a continued momentum. It's never a straight, clean momentum for him where it's positive. It's just a very jerky motion. He's two steps forward, 10 steps back all the time, and it's really really frustrating. And then like I said, you had Logan Paul in there doing stuff that Dom could have did. Like Dom could have did Logan Paul spots better, and it would have been better received. Like who cares about Logan Paul? I don't care if he is a good wrestler. He's a terrible human being, and you could be a good wrestler if you have all the time in the world to practice. He's not on the road like everybody else. If he's on the road and wrestling all the time, then we can see if he was a good wrestler or not. But if you're not doing that, you're just rehearsing all the time, and then you're just rehearsing a match over and over and over. That's why he's good. That's the only reason Logan Paul is good, because he has the time and opportunity to practice the match. And I keep telling people, there's good and there's good when you can be able to rehearse something, and then there's good when you're out on the road a lot of the time. Like when you're traveling and you gotta call it audible. Like if what happened with JD this past Raw, like being in that situation shows you how good you are wrestling wise. But anyway, like it's done. He didn't win, but Jay won. And like I said, I still think that was a swerve. Some people are saying that that was planned since January, and if that was planned since January, they really failed on the story. Like Jay should have been doing a lot more storyline wise to build up to that. If the story was there, like I said, WrestleMania is for stories. If the story is there, I don't think we would have all this backlash. If you wanted to do it like Kofi Mania or like the Yes Movement, then you would, if you built it up that way, you wouldn't have this backlash. If you built it up like finish the story like Cody Rhodes, you would not have this backlash for Jay. But they didn't. You threw him in there after he's lost. So like, what is it? But anyway, he's the champ. He's gonna be there on Raw tomorrow. We're going to go into Drew. Now, Drew, of course, was eliminated by Damian Priest. So again, why is Damian getting all these like these Terra twins, Rhea and Damian are just getting all this preferential treatment? At least in Rhea's case, she gets the pop where I can see where it's warranted. With Damian's ass, I don't see why he's getting that. Like, why are you going to have Drew and Damian feud? And Son Ross Sapp reported that what PW Insider said was true. Drew was very unhappy about what happened in the match. Some people are thinking that's like LA Knight kind of went into business and was trying to get his spots in for the elimination on that. But they also said that the Drew and Damian match, which could go on to WrestleMania, is like a nothing fight. So he could be upset about that. And I said on the X, people are now going to find out why Finn and Dom fans were upset about Damian's booking, because now you see what's going on. Like, what's the point with Drew going from mixing it up with Seth Rollins and CM Punk, possibly even Cody and Roman and all them? Why is he going from that to Damian Priest? That's a downgrade. This is after the man, had this awesome feud with CM Punk. He had a nice little bloodline Hunter storyline that got cut off at the knees by Jay. You know what? I would be upset too. Like the dude carried Raw for a while. It's kind of like Drew is in the same position like Liv. Like they carried Raw a lot, and then you get rewarded with, oh, we're good. You're just gonna get Damian Priest. Like I'd be pissed too. But like I said, now that Damian's on SmackDown, they're going to find out why Dom fans and Finn fans and like JD, Carlito, anybody that's gone up against Damian, they're gonna find out why people were bitching about how he is. He's, all people in my circle just call him Omni Man. I call him No Sales Priest and No Pop Priest because that's just how he is. No selling. Nobody can get over like that. So now Drew, took off after like during the show. He didn't wait till after the show. He took off during the show. So that shows you that he was pissed. So if it's true, then people are just gonna find out what people complain about Damon Priest about. And then circling back to Dom a little bit, notice how Liv has a lot of pathways, but Dom doesn't. Like there is no clear pathway for Dom. Even with Finn, like you have him like eliminate Penta, and I guess that ties into Penta now with Chad and Dom and all that. So you can kind of tie it in there, but Dom, he doesn't have a clear pathway. And like I said, it's always 2 steps forward, 10 steps back for him, and it's just getting really, really tiring as a Dom fan. Let's see. And then we did have Joe Hendry pop up, which I was happy about. He deserved that because he maintained a lot of his overness, and his theme song is a bop. So I don't care, say his name and he appears. I'm bopping to Joe Hendry. Um, like I said, so Monday Night Raw preview. They said that Charlotte and Jey are gonna be there, and then I guess they're gonna start some of the elimination chambers. Um, like I said, there's no real clear path for Dom. And even then, Monday Night Raw, they need to pull the trigger on it. It needs to get started now. I can't deal with Finn coming back and just being mad at Dom and Dom not saying anything for another week. We don't need that. We need major storyline progression. Something needs to happen. Maybe in this elimination qualifier, if they do have an elimination chamber qualifier, then something needs to happen here. Maybe Dom maybe they're in the same qualifier for elimination chamber, and Dom is able to like do a pin or get in there, and Finn isn't. Like kick it off that way. Something needs to happen. Lexington could be on Raw, so that could be something for Liv. I still think Liv and Raquel can go for the tags on that, and people really, really need to get off Raquel's neck because all I saw this weekend regarding Raquel is that she's going to cost Liv, her shot, and then there's going to be tension. There has been no tension. Raquel did fine in the Royal Rumble. It was the Piper that had the kind of accidentally on purpose eliminating Chelsea Green. So people just need to get off. So people really need to get off of Raquel's neck. I'm just really tired of how everybody thinks that she's preventing all this LivDom stuff or holding Liv back. Like, no, nothing is holding back LivDom, and nothing is holding back Liv. It's always booking, 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 booking. Booking is the issue. And notice, like I said, notice how since Raquel is out of that vortex by she who must not be named, she's been doing better. Like she's able to show her power moves. You notice how that works? She's out of the vortex. Now she can actually look effective. But those first couple of months have kind of almost ruined her because of how they didn't want to treat her in comparison to she who must not be named. I'm just gonna do that. I can get around it with that. She's who must not be named. If you know who she is, you know who she is. But as soon as she got out of that vortex of suck, Raquel is starting to do a lot better. And even now, look at all these storylines that Liv can have. These storylines with Alexa, potentially with Alexa, Charlotte, and Nikki are a lot better than She Who Must Be Named. Because right now, where was she? We had like a majority of the champions not even show up to Royal Rumble, and we didn't even get a reaction spot for them on TV. I don't think. And then now, like, what's the story going into WrestleMania for the women's championship, the Raw Women's Championship? There's no story. Meanwhile, we got Liv actually having some that could possibly have some interesting stories. And that's why people were telling you we knew we were going to get to the spot if She Who May Not Be Named actually got the title back. And then look what's happening now. No promos, no nothing. She can't bounce off a thumb. And Rhea, I'll just say her name this time, for Rhea. And then she was talking about at FanFest, like how, he doesn't last 3 seconds. I'm like, woman, you stayed with him for 2 years. If he was that bad, it's like how she said that he doesn't go deep enough. Then why did you stay up with him for 2 years? And why is she always picking? It's always like she's his name is always in her mouth, and I'm so tired of it. You have Jey. Go get with Jey. Go find somebody. Go find another guy. Go to NXT. Go find somebody that you can go boss around. I'm really tired of her always bringing up Dom because Dom, Dom had a really neat answer to how to talk about Rhea. I think he said he called her Voldemort, from Harry Potter. So like even he's not even saying Rhea's name. So how is it that Dom can avoid talking about Rhea, but Rhea pretty much can talk about Dom? Like it's simple. Dom usually sets that stuff down when it relates to Rhea. Rhea is just always a dig or something like that. And a lot of people are saying now, not really a lot of people, but just some people are just saying now, like it just feels like she took Dom leaving her personally, and I'm talking about Rhea the person here, not the wrestler. And it's kind of and it feels like that. Maybe it isn't, but it just feels like she took it personally, and now he's kind of suffering for it. But he can't suffer for that for long. Sooner or later, that nepotism is gonna kick in, and you can't hold him back. But me personally, it just feels like she took it personally that he left, and it was going to happen. Rhea and Dom were not going to stay joined forever. If they were following Eddie and China, everybody knows how Eddie and China turned up. Eddie cheated on China. With Eddie, it was more egregious because Eddie was allowed to yell at China. Dom was not allowed to do that. So she should be thankful that Dom wasn't allowed to channel Eddie in that whole breakup period. Like she was able to beat him up. She was able to do this. She keeps dogging him, and that just leaves a very bad taste in my mouth because Dom doesn't do that. Liv does, and I expect Liv to do that. She's a heel, and she can do that. She can do that. But Dom, when he's not even saying much to her, and you continue to say shit about Dom, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's the same thing with always hitting him. Like you're hitting him, he can't fight back. You gave him a rip tire, you kick him in the balls. Like he can't do anything physically to fight back, and then he hasn't even done anything to warrant getting hit. Like cheating on somebody, and even that's a stretch, shouldn't warrant getting beat up over it. Like when during the whole Matt Hardy Edge thing with Lita, Lita was getting in there scrapping on Matt, and Matt was able to retaliate. It wasn't like he was attacking Lita from the get go, Lita was. It's not like Lita was just able to hit Matt, and he wasn't able to retaliate. And then it wasn't like Matt was just attacking Lita from the get go too. That beef was with Edge, and then when Lita got involved, Matt was able to take that out on Lita. And this is when you could have the hits on women back there during the ruthless aggression era. But again, like I said, Matt was able to get revenge on Lita for the whole cheating thing, but that's because Lita was involving himself in the matches physically and like hitting him. It wasn't like Dom where he was helping Liv, but it wasn't like Dom was like physically holding Rhea down. He wasn't tripping her up. He wasn't doing all that stuff. So I always find the Rhea situation really icky when it comes to Dom because at some point she just needs to stop talking about him. And the whole situation with the whole T-shirt thing, posting it that she deleted, mind you. Did y'all see that she deleted that Instagram post of her with that fan with the Lita, with not Lita, with Liv's mugshot? That got deleted, and people are saying, "Well, people just had an uproar." No, I mean, if she's friends with Liv, then she should know that the mugshot is upsetting to her. If she couldn't stop the fan from wearing the t-shirt, then she should have been reposting that photo. And that just goes to show me that Rhea is not friends or as friends with Lita. What I keep saying Lita. She's not as friends with Liv that people think. People are thinking they were best friends. I don't think best friends do that. I think this is almost like a Charlotte and Becky situation where they got um where everything got really tense between them, and maybe they were friends, but like I said, I don't think friends would be able to do that. If I see somebody with somebody mugshot that's a friend, and they told me that they were uncomfortable with seeing said mugshot, then I wouldn't be participating with that. If you can't deny the fan because they pay the money, okay, it's fine. I get it. But you shouldn't be reposting the photo. So that was just bullshit on Bria's behalf. And that's why I have to side hide her more and more when it comes to Dom and when it comes to Liv. Because Dom, she wanted to sit up there and call him a slut. Where like I said, if the genders was the other way around and Dom was calling her a slut, Dom wouldn't have been able to make it out alive. And y'all know that's true. Like she's calling Dom a slut. She gets to pretty much drag the guy through the mud when the guy hasn't really done much to her. Yeah, he cheated. Yeah, he cost her the title, but he hasn't done that much. Not compared to what some other people could do. And then here with the mugshot, I think she tries to blur that kayfabe line too much, and she's really engaged with the fans too much, and she just got to step back and something needs to change because even my Rhea friends that I have did not like her posting that photo, and these are fans, not stans, STAN fans. They did not like her posting that because it's just something that she's able to get away with, and I'm just side eyeing her more and more, and it's making me like her less and less. Like I said from the beginning, if y'all been watching my videos since last year, y'all know me. Y'all know that I thought that this whole Dom Liv and Rhea storyline would have catapulted her to like a Cody Rhodes status if they had did it right. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that. I was hoping that was gonna happen for her. But in the events since SummerSlam on and the way Dom's been treated, Liv's been treated, the whole booking of Raquel, all that, it's like she's gone down a lot in my eyes. And all I can say now is just that it's gonna bite them in the butt. It may not be soon. It may take some time, but eventually it's gonna bite them in the butt. We're already seeing it with Damian because now you got Drew over here not really wanting to do anything with Damian now. So eventually you're going to get to that point where people are not going to be wanting to deal with her and the fans are not going to deal with her. And then we'll see how it goes. And that's my rant, but I had to get that off my chest because she deleted the photos. So something either WWE told her to take it down, Liv told her to take it down, or she just had to take it down because she was getting way too much comments. Like I said before, I kind of wish that they kind of kayfabed like Liv and like a Liv and Dom arrest so they could control the narrative on that. So if they wanted to do that and then they had like a actual like WWE mugshot, kayfabe wise, then at least when that happens, maybe she's not comfortable with doing that. But if she is comfortable with doing something like that, I rather than just kind of kayfabe like an arrest into the storyline. That way they can have the photo, and then that can get circled. That can get circled on the internet, like as part of the WWE instead of her actual mugshot. Y'all see what I'm saying? That way they can control the narrative on that. But I digress. I had to do that lasso rant because, like I said, I don't like how things get treated when it comes to Dom. I'm not liking how it's been treated to Liv. Like they're exploding, their popularity exploded. They made it work. They put in the work this summer. It was Liv and Dom's summer. They had everybody looking for all the clues. They had everybody waiting every Monday for advancements in the storyline. It was Liv and Dom, and they deserve much better than the shit that they've been getting. But I digress. Let's answer some questions, shall we? Ooh, we got about like 15 minutes. I don't want to stay too long. Let's answer some questions. Senor said Dom and Raquel entered with the same number, 26. Yeah, I noticed that. And then some people were saying, well, they're going to get together. I'm like, what? Sometimes being on social media, it really exposes you to some really wild theories out there. So yeah, I did notice that they entered that in that 26. Let's see here. Senor says Speed had a better performance than Pat McAfee last year. Yeah, he did take a gnarly looking spear from Braun Breaker and then got chucked by Braun. So yeah, he did have a better performance. Ricola says, hey Ricola. That's why Ventura said that he was hoping for Dom to win. Something's not right here. Yeah, oh yeah, Jesse Ventura did praise Dom. Like he was hoping, he said like in his post on the X that he hoped Dom, would do pretty much do better. So maybe there is something here that we're not seeing just yet, or it hasn't been said out right just yet. So if Jesse the Body Ventura is saying that, and remember when Liv and Dom showed up for the first Saturday night main event, Jesse was praising the heck out of Liv for taking that shot to the nose from EO, and then he was praising Dom for having Liv. And you know that Jesse the Body Ventura is that heel commentator that that will talk about the heels. So if he's talking up somebody, if he's talking up Dom, then he sees something. You know, Dom, that's the difference between praises between somebody. You know how we always I'm complaining about the glazing of she who must be named. Dom's praise, you get praise, that kind of praise from Jesse the Body. You know that means something. That's a deeper level of praise. And speaking of commentary, is anybody getting annoyed with how commentary and WWE official comment on Dom? It's really starting to feel malicious and personal because when Dom came out there, you have Cole talking about his skinny arms. That dude's arms are not skinny. Did y'all see pictures of Dom when he was hugging on Liv when he was talking to Speed like backstage, and he was just running over Speed for trying to get a date with Liv? Like his arms are developed. He just doesn't have that. Dom doesn't have a typical pro wrestling physique, but he has muscles. You can see it. He has the body. But you have Cole over here talking about skinny arms. I'm like, sir, you talking about Dom's physique when you got Sami Zayn over here looking like the way he does? Sami isn't the most muscular. Like I could almost call Sami flabby. I don't like to body shame, but he's not a Greek god of physique. There's a lot of people on the roster that don't have like this Greek Adonis type build. It's not muscle on muscle on muscle. Like I really don't get why all it was like what was it Cole said like it's something like regarding his skeleton like the skeleton that he has on his gear like it's like he's skinny like a twig and I'm not like why y'all running him down so much. And then poor Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett was trying really hard to combat what Cole and Pat McAfee were saying in relation to Dom. He was trying. And then on WWE official, all they do is they post like Dom getting eliminated. Like when will it stop? Like hold on. It's just getting really annoying how the official accounts, and this is not even like WWE to España or Espanol. This is like WWE official English. Like they will talk shit about Dom, and even Liv has even unfollowed the official WWE account over that. Like how they talk about Dom. And then you got Michael Cole and Pat talking shit about Dom. Like you can't just keep running down somebody. This is why you need heel commentators. Corey Graves, even though he has some issues, Corey Graves would talk up Dom, and it was really nice to hear Corey talk up Dom in relation to Michael Cole, because at least you didn't have to keep hearing Michael Cole and Pat just keep constantly running down Dom. It's annoying. I don't like it. Like sometimes you just want to hear somebody talk positively about Dom. And I don't think it'll change when he goes face, if he ever goes face. And I don't want him to go face, but I don't think it'll even change if he ever goes tweener or leans face. I don't think it'll stop. Like, where's the balancing act when it comes to his commentary? Like, Wade shouldn't be like trying to fight up against two people just to have something positive about Dom. But that's my rant on that. But yeah, I'm really tired of Michael Cole talking about Dom's like skinny arms. Like, dude, I know you're kind of ripped because you work out and stuff too, but not everybody's going to have the same physique. And I don't want all the wrestlers to have the same physique. There's a reason why we have the Bronze. There's a reason why we have Otis and Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu. We have different types of bodies in wrestling, and I don't like this. I don't like this body shaming on Dom, and it's always body shaming on Dom. Like people always want to say, "Well, if he gets some muscle, he'll be a championship." No, he won't. Maybe Triple H wants some muscle, but not everybody can build the muscle. And if we remember what happened to Eddie, his uncle, then we should know that maybe he doesn't want to go the path Eddie took to get his physique. Eddie wasn't a natural physique. That was some drugs involved in that. Maybe he wants to think about his future health when it comes to this. Maybe not everybody wants to get on a course of some kind of steroid or PED just to build up some muscle. You got to think about that in relation to Dom. You know what he went through with Eddie, and then y'all want to keep calling him like a twig. Like that needs to stop. Somebody needs to like rap. That needs to be toned down a lot. Cole has been really getting on my nerves. Like at some point, Dom needs to be able to hit him or talk back against Cole some kind of way. Ricola says Jay can only yeet, can't cut promos, and he can't. Jimmy is the better twin. Jimmy can cut a promo. I think Jimmy can do a lot better. Jay, once he finishes yeeting, he can't cut a promo. It's a reason why everything dies after the yeets. Yeah, everybody's gonna cheer and everybody's into it, but after that, it dies. Meanwhile, if you look at Dom, when he's getting booed, he can at least cut the promo. He mixes it up with some Spanish and he's off to the races. Jay, he dies. And yours says Damian at this point feels like the new Roman Reigns becoming tribal chief. Yeah, he's pretty much he's pretty much the big dog Roman Reigns. I think he's even worse than Big Dog Roman Reigns. Big Dog Roman Reigns would actually lose and be humiliated from time to time. Damian ain't even getting that. Maybe you could almost compare it to maybe I can't even really compare him to John Cena. Like I said, even John Cena and Roman Reigns during their heights where they were unpopular or split the crowd, at least they would take the loss. They would look weak. They would take the beating. Damien ain't doing that. Elizabeth says, I think Liv is going to be in Elimination Chamber. She might. It just depends on where everything settles. We'll probably find out more on Raw, but hopefully tomorrow we'll find out where all the roads are going with all these storylines, or at least start up some of these storylines. Ricola says Charlotte's going to SmackDown. Nobody wants to deal with Rhea. I mean, she could, but maybe she will. I don't know. I'm just saying that Charlotte with Rhea kind of knocks out two birds with one stone with that. But maybe she will go to SmackDown. Senor says, do you see a tag match between Ray and Penta versus Finn and Dom at Elimination Chamber? I don't think they want to loop Dom back into with Ray at this particular moment. I mean, we could. I'm kind of hoping that they just kind of go IC, throw everybody in the IC. Penta, Finn, Dom, Braun Breaker. Throw in Chad Gable too. Like, give us like a TLC or a ladder match at WrestleMania for IC, and then kind of go from there. That's what I'm kind of hoping. I don't think they want to loop in Ray with Dom as of yet. They've been kind of keeping them separated. So I'm kind of hoping that Dom gets into the elimination chamber some kind of way. Elizabeth said he doesn't like her. Yeah, he has. He said that constantly, and that's all he says. But he doesn't go in. He doesn't really like go into bad mouthing her, from what I can tell. He just says his truth, and that's done with it. Like, and then he doesn't want to give more energy regarding it. Rhea will just kind of go on and on. Oh, he was shortcutting. He didn't go deep enough. He only lasts 3 seconds. I'm like, like, like to me, those just like are self owns. Like, you stayed with him for 2 years, woman. If he was that bad in the bed, like, why did you stay with him? Hey, that just makes everything look bad for you. He still hit it though. Senora said Don didn't want to mention her ex mommy name anymore. Yeah, and I'm kind of glad that he figured out a way of getting around that, because I know that's kind of tiring where you don't want to talk about her, or at least his character doesn't want to talk about her. So that's just an interesting way for him to kind of get around that. It's kind of like how I will go, she who must not be named, and piss off a lot of people on the X when I do that. So yeah, like he doesn't want to talk about her, and that's admirable because a lot of people don't want to talk about her. I mean, sometimes it's like with Rhea, it just feels like you get forced into it. Like when you want to talk about something, she kind of gets looped in just because you're kind of have to talk about her, especially when it relates to Liv and Dom's booking. You kind of have to talk about her. Let's see here. Thank you for the likes, by the way. I appreciate it. Ricolo says that beef between Liv and Rhea is real, and even more so since Dom and Liv are so close. Yeah, if they feel really close. Maybe that's just their chemistry there, and they seem like they were hanging out even prior to Rhea. If you look at like some of the stuff that Liv has posted, like way back in the day before Dami was even thinking about Judgment Day, there was some stuff there, and it would have been nice to kind of segue it like that. Dom and Liv always had a connection and just got interrupted with Rhea. But like you said, Bricolo, it does feel now. It feels almost personal. That's why I said it feels like a Charlotte and Becky type situation. You know, maybe they were close at one time, but now it just, it's gotten strained and things happen. Friendships get strained. But I would think, like I said, I would think as somebody that's a professional, you would know not to post certain things. It's kind of like how with Rhea would post those really icky stuff regarding Dom. Like, why are you posting that? Like, you know how your fans are going to take it. Like, you post the icky stuff about Dom, and then you're posting the mugshot about Liv. Like, what are you doing, woman? That's just been my problem because if Liv had posted anything about Rhea's like doing those slurs that she said way back in the day, if you know, you know. Like if Liv had posted anything like that, or if like a fan came up with some of those slurs, like maybe like a social media post on a shirt, and Liv took a picture with that, and then she posted it to her social media accounts, you know that Liv would be dragged through the mud. She'd be raked over the coals, thrown under the bus if she did anything like that, and you know it. So for Rhea to do what she did, and then people was like, well, you can't excuse that stuff. It's like with her friends. Well, they're friends. It's like friends doesn't excuse posting shit like that. And like I said, it's with Rhea, it's always the situation. If the situation was reversed, it's kind of like with Dom. If Dom was calling her a slut, if Dom was hitting her, he wouldn't make it out alive. But since it's Rhea, it's okay. Rhea posting the mugshot, it's okay, they're friends. But if Liv wanted to post something horrible from Rhea's past, then she wouldn't make it out alive. She would get raked over the coals. You know, nobody would be willing to give up excuses for Liv, and nobody would be trying to give up excuses for Dom. And then with the fans, it's like how Rhea got all in her feelings because somebody was talking about how what was it that she hit her head on Tiffany's shoes? Like was it last year? Like she got all hurt because she was saying, "Oh, they wish harm on me." It was like but it was just like Liv fans kind of laughing about it because one, I don't think people knew that she got hurt right there, like hitting that shoe. If anybody remembers that, like nobody knew that she got hurt. So you're gonna kind of laugh about it because it was funny. The shoe she hit right there. And she popped up and everything was okay. It's not like a JD situation where you could tell that he was hurt badly. And nobody's gonna laugh about that. But with that, it was just like a little bit of fun, and then Liv fans got raked over the coals just for dang to laugh at something that didn't look too serious at the time, and then she had a problem with it. So like you can't be like mad at somebody that was having a little bit of laugh at you landing on a shoe, and then you post the mugshot, and then that's everything. That's fine. You see what I mean? It's too much. She's making me side eye her a lot more lately. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah. I hate it when this thing scrolls up like that. Um, Diego. Hello, Diego. Rumor said that Jay's wins the world championship. They're gonna feel Dom might get a shot at the title, and he might. He might. What I'm hoping for with Dom is that he gets Money in the Bank. I want him if Jay gets it and Dom gets Money in the Bank, then yeah, he could probably snatch that off of Jay. I was kind of hoping John Cena wins the title and then Dom could get that title off of him because again, that's heat. He could probably get heat off of Jay and maybe Dom can get it, but I'm hoping that Dom gets Money in the Bank this year. I'm not sure if he's gonna get IC, but I'm do hoping that Dom gets the Money in the Bank. They wasted it last year with Drew McIntyre, so this year, I think they need to just go. They need to just Dom needs to get Money in the Bank. He can carry it for a while and then cash in, and I think it will fit his character perfectly. Kendall says, "Hello, Kendall. LivDom future interest with the matching bets is going to be fire. We might even get to see that tomorrow. That's what I'm hoping, or today, depending on your time zone. So those bets, um, I'm hoping we get the behind the scenes with like him giving her that vest, kind of like how Liv gave Dom the shoes, like their matching shoes. I kind of hope we get a behind the scenes on that pretty soon." Yours says WWE wants Dom to say the words I quit during the promo. Yeah, possibly. I wouldn't be surprised. Kendall says Logan Paul outperforming Dom is downright is beyond insulting, and plus no Dom fan confrontation. Yeah, the whole Logan Paul thing was just insulting. Like, Dom could have been better suited for that, and then even Logan Paul could have probably been in the first part of that. Like if they had switched everything around and had Dom and Logan Paul spot, I think it would have gone over a lot better. And then some people said that if it was Logan Paul, if they had to have Logan Paul on there, if they just had like Logan Paul eliminate John Cena and it was Jey versus Logan Paul, then it would have gone over better. And I agree with that. Like if it was Jey that eliminated Logan Paul to win, then I think it would have went over a lot better. But he eliminated John Cena, and this is his retirement year. So of course people are not going to be enthusiastic about Jey winning. Yeah, you might have had people enthusiastic about Jey winning, but when you got John Cena there, it kind of just dampened the whole thing. And thank you for the likes too. Emmanuel, hello, Emmanuel. Dom definitely winning Money in the Bank. There's nobody else who needs it. Yeah, people were saying like Carmelo could win it, but I don't even think Carmelo could win it. Like Andrade or something like that, LA Knight. I don't think any of these other faces or heels would need the Money in the Bank. I think Dom needs Money in the Bank. That just fits his character. Like he could do that. He could be that slimy heel that's looking for any opportunity to cash in. And I think he would do well with it. Ricolo says, "What's up with this Julius going after Liv? It's people trying to force Liv because he keeps. I think Julius is trying to force like a little storyline there because he has some little comments about Liv last year. But right now, Julius is coming off as really, really creepy and not in a good way. Like I've seen some people that said, I like Julius, but the way he's kind of been commenting after Liv now, it just feels really creepy. And I kind of agree with that because you're like it feels like he's just trying to force a storyline. And I think Dom even called him like, what was that guy's name from the Goonies? Drunk? If you know who he's that character, the guy that they found in the Goonies when on the ship. Like it feels like Julius is just forcing the storyline, and it's not coming off naturally. Like if you want to throw in like a rival for Liv, okay, fine, cool. If you want to have Dom be a little bit jealous, okay, cool. I get it, but it doesn't. But Julius just feels like really, really creepy. I can't, and it doesn't. It's not working for me. Like, if you want to throw in somebody that's kind of flirting after Liv, cool, okay. I mean, you had Liv kind of go after Dom a little, but not Liv. You had Tiffany kind of go after Dom. That was fine, but with Julius, it's just creepy. Oh, come on. And let's see. Senor says this Jew Liv stuff is just like Jay is booking. Yeah, it's kind of like some fans are trying to force it, and it's not working. It's just kind of like the Jay stuff. Some people are saying that they could have like Rhea and Jay lift up their titles, after he wins, and people are already groaning about it because I'm like, you're not even carrying that thing forward. She's all saying yeet on social media, like this man still hasn't taken you to the Waffle House and you're still saying yeet. Like, come on. Either y'all are gonna commit to the bit on that Jaya stuff, or just let it die and do something else. I'm kind of tired of Jaya at this point. Diego says, now that fans return, what's next for Team JD? What's next for Team Judgment Day? And JD is injured. See, this is why. Sorry. This is why they need to just gonna pull the trigger because Finn is outnumbered. There's only Carlito left, if JD was the only one kind of loyal to Finn. So right now it's just Dom, Liv, Raquel all together, and then you got Carlito, and I know Carlito's probably gonna lean towards Dom because of Dom and Raquel. So Finn is out on his own, so they just need to go out and pull that trigger. Like, um, there's no point in trying to hold out this anymore. It's like it's been dragged on long enough. Like it's been going on long enough. Cut gone and just gone and pull the trigger. Either kick Finn out, or you got to get some major storyline progression where we're ramping up to the Finn versus Dom storyline. We need to just go on and get that ball rolling. Yeah, yeah. Ricola says, imagine two people that can't cut promos. Mommy on top. Yeet. Yeah, yeah. Jay can't cut a promo. Rhea can't cut a promo. Rhea's just gonna be like, I'm the best. I'm always on top. I'm Rhea Buddy Rippy. What else could she say? That's why any kind of storyline is gonna be sucking from now until WrestleMania. She's not gonna wrestle. Is she gonna wrestle? Is she gonna wrestle at Elimination Chamber? No. If they do anything on Elimination Chamber, then they may even put Tiffany there. I would expect Tiffany to be at Elimination Chamber more than Rhea. But yeah, nobody will be able to promo for their lives there. Elizabeth says Liv is supposed to cut a promo on February. What kind of promo, Elizabeth? Can you answer that real quick? And thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes. She's supposed to cut a promo. Cut a promo against who? Is she gonna be telling good promos against Charlotte, Alexa? Uh, who? I don't want to hold y'all too long because it's getting late. Ricola said 255 million views on that show. Oh, on that speed show, and LivDom was over. Yeah, like Liv and Dom was really great on there. He was like pretty much shutting down Speed on there, and then Liv was backing him up. I think somebody said that Finn could say that Dom was more focused on that and maybe Liv than like the Royal Rumble. But again, still, he did his thing. It's kind of like how people are saying that Finn could say that Dom was too focused on Liv. But with the absence of the Judgment Day segments in the clubhouse, you can't really say that. When we saw JD and Dom together, they were prepping for the match. So it's not like Dom was like all over and kissing on or trying to get in the good graces of Liv at the expense of JD. So there's some missing beats here. So I'm not sure. They can spin it that way, but Dom's been holding it down. So maybe that's the delusional demon and Finn coming out with that. Hey, listen, hi, thank you. Elizabeth says, I don't know. I just saw on Twitter that her and Raquel are cutting promos on February. I know she did the Scarlett and Shotzi Haunted House series today. Maybe that's because of that, but maybe that's that. Oh, by the way, speaking of views, y'all noticed that little backstage segment between Dom, Liv, Raquel, and Chad Gable did not show up on YouTube, or at least I haven't seen it show up. You know how I talked about sabotage? Like, okay, you're doing these segments and you're not putting them where people need to see it. Like, why are y'all so scared about the views? Like, y'all have no problem with Alexa getting the millions of views that she did for her return, but with Dom and Liv, that gives you the actual views. The views they were getting millions of views on TikTok. They got up 1 million views on YouTube. Now y'all can't put them out there, but y'all could try to run like Rhea videos like 2 or 3 different times until one catches on and catch fires and go viral. Like that's a segment that needed to be on YouTube where people could look it up. The only time you can see that segment, and I had to bookmark it, is on the X, and it might be on Instagram, but I don't think so. It's not on YouTube, so you're missing a key element of the story where Dom was looking very in control of what he was doing with Chad Gable. Like something's going on. I'm not sure if this is deliberate or not, or it's just Triple H being a really shitty booker like Vince McMahon was. But hopefully, this Monday he gets his shit together and we can actually start trying to enjoy some of his stories again. Elizabeth said it's not on YouTube. Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. I don't think it was. It hasn't been on YouTube. Elizabeth said nope. I mean, Rhea. Oh, like Liv and Rhea promos. I mean, they might. I'm not sure what they could talk about. It's just gonna be the same thing with Rhea. I'm Buddy Ripley and I'm the best and mommy's on top. Yada yada yada. Liv could talk a little bit more. Now, I wouldn't mind it if Liv could be escaping about to Rhea because I think that needs to happen. Like Rhea needs to be able to be cut down. So if they allow Liv to do that, maybe. But right now, I don't want Liv really near her. I would like to, like Senior says, do you see a face off between Liv and Alexa on Raw? We could see that. Like I would rather see that than Liv versus than talking about Rhea because you know it's just gonna be Rhea saying the same thing and then she'll probably do the stupid thing and headbutt Liv and probably injure herself in the process again. Elizabeth said Liv beat Rhea 2 years ago. Yeah, they could probably bring that up. Kayla says it's on YouTube, just not on WWE official. That they haven't posted it. Somebody else has. Yeah, see that's what happened with the segment 2 weeks ago when Liv snatched Dom to go who knows where. Like other people's gonna post it, but WWE official, where you expect it to be on WWE official, they didn't post it. And then when they did post something, it wasn't the full segment, and then they focused on Carlito. So again, you know, Liv and they know, we know that Liv and Dom bring the ratings. I mean, not the well, they do bring the ratings, but they bring the views. So it's really interesting to see how they cut themselves off at the knees by not posting Liv and Dom. They don't put like their thumbnail with them on there. You're not posting all this stuff, and there's no reason for it. It has story. It's not like it's just a random backstage bit. This was actual story. It was Chad asking for a payable from Dom 2 weeks ago, and then this past week it was Dom saying, "Hey, you owe me a favor." These are story elements that need to be addressed, and you don't put it on official WWE, but everything else can get on the official WWE. Like you could put up Sammy being stalked by Karrion Cross, but Dom can't get his little like 30-second segments on there when he needs it to build himself up. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it. I'll be on tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing more live reactions until I can figure out live studio and I can give a more interactive experience because it was just a lot of dead air. Maybe I have to have somebody I can talk to at that particular moment on there. Um, but I will be back tomorrow reacting to what happened on Raw. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get storyline progression. Either Finn and Dom come to blows and Finn gets kicked out, or something else happens which advances Finn and Dom towards WrestleMania. Liv can be talking with either Alexa or Charlotte or something like that. Anything, even with Bianca and Naomi, I just need Liv to be. I need Liv to be busy. I need Raquel to be busy. I need Dom to be busy with Finn. I kind of want Judgment Day to be all over the place. This is what needs to happen. Judgment Day needs to be all over Raw for these 2.5 hours. Raw flows better when it's Judgment Day, just always doing something. And this is a Raw that needs them to be all over the place. Anchor it. You can start off with Jay, but then you need to start segue into Dom and Finn, and then Liv and Raquel maybe talking about Alexa and Charlotte, and kind of going through the motions with that. And then if they have an elimination chamber match, maybe they can cap it off with maybe Dom winning to get into the elimination chamber, and then you have the major storyline progression, or at least end with Finn getting kicked out. Since Finn is by himself, they just probably just need to go on and kick out Finn. There's no point in Finn just sticking around and holding on when he's just the only one there and he's by himself now. I mean, at least when JD was there, you can kind of have him attached to JD because that's his mentor and that's his student. But now he's off by himself. Just gotta kick him or something major needs to happen. Something needs to happen. But what I'm hoping for is that Judgment Day is all over Raw. I do not need to see 10 minutes of yeeting. I do not need to see 10 minutes of mommy's on top. I don't need to see that. We need to see other stuff. We need to see Elimination Chamber. we need to see some other stuff happen um during Raw. We need to get officially on the road to WrestleMania, and a lot of these storylines need to happen. So with that, Barbie girl, I heard Dom is getting kicked out of Judgment Day. Why Dom? If Dom goes, that means Liv and Raquel are going. I mean, Ben can kick Dom, but he's going to be by himself. So to me it makes more sense for Finn to get kicked. Dom getting kicked doesn't do anything. People that just seems like people just want that whole Finn and Liv thing where we haven't seen any kind of hint of Finn and Liv. The same thing with that Drew Liv thing. It's like they're trying to force something to happen. So I think if anybody's getting kicked, I think it's gonna be Finn. He has no one. Not that I'm discounting it, but it's just like I don't see what you could do with Dom getting kicked because that means Liv is going.